Hello, everyone! Welcome to another episode of Superhero Deep Dive. I am your host, Jason. I have a great episode scheduled for you today. Let me get my disclaimers in. I've got a couple things to address, and then I will move forward. So, the information is pulled from different sources across the internet and may or may not be completely complete, but they do give a really good insight on the current superhero. Sometimes things are omitted or left out, and it's usually because I don't feel it's that important to the character storyline, like it just doesn't really develop them that much, or there may be something that happens and then it gets retconned later and it really just ends up not helping you, or it's more confusing than anything else. So, but if I ever miss anything, if you'd ever like to add anything to it, if you have questions, critiques, requests for new videos, anything like that, as always, you can reach out to me on my email, which is b4itall@yahoo.com. You can, I'm sorry, I'm writing something down because I just remembered I did actually get a request in from a great listener, but I'm sorry about that. But yes, you can email me at b4itall@yahoo.com. You can catch me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. My DMs are always open because I don't know how to close them or whatever, I guess. You can catch me on YouTube under Superhero Deep Dive, and if you do, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. It helps me out. If you play the video in the background, like on an extra tab, and mute the tab, I still get credit for it. So I do really appreciate it. And you can catch me every Tuesday and Thursday on Outworld Fleet Radio. And their website is un-con-conventional.com/radio. Sorry about that. That was crazy. Okay. But let's see here. I got the disclaimers out. A couple of housekeeping items. I got a really good comment a couple weeks ago from one of my viewers on YouTube. I believe their name is Cliff. So Cliff, if you are listening, thank you so much for your feedback. For my YouTube videos, if you haven't seen, please go see. But if you haven't seen, it's just basically a slideshow. It's the podcast with the slideshow of the superhero that we're talking about, so you can kind of get a visual, and it's just something to do. He made some really good comments, said that he likes the show. He wishes the videos were a little bit better, like more professionally done. I agree. I will look into these things. I will kind of look at tutorials. If anyone knows how to do these, please reach out to me. I would love to, if that's what's holding my channel back from growing, I would love to remedy that and get my channel to grow to where maybe I could even get monetized on YouTube, because right now I don't, and it's not a big deal, but it wouldn't hurt to get extra YouTube money too, right? And if we can work out some kind of agreement, I am all for it. So, just putting that out there. But yeah, anyways, let's get into the meat of the matter. Alright, I am going to be talking about the hero Husk. You may have known her from X-Men or Generation X back in the 90s. Her real name is Paige Guthrie. She is actually the sister of Cannonball, who is Sam Guthrie of New Mutants and X-Force fame. And I believe at one point he was also Eternal, but I think they retconned that. I'm not sure. But Paige Guthrie was born into a large Kentucky coal miners family. Her father died when she was very young due to a lung affliction from working in the mines. As a teenager, she discovers her inborn mutant ability to shed her skin, metamorphosing into a different composition beneath. She has used this power to turn her body into stone, glass, acid, Other materials, I believe she's done adamantium before. She can also use her power to heal herself by shedding a damaged form in favor of an intact one. She normally cannot change the shape of her form, only its composition, although in an issue of X-Force, written before her powers had been fully defined, it depicted her as transforming into a bird. I think that was retcon though, because I don't think she's done that since. Now, from the series beginning in 1994 until its cancellation in 2001, Husk was a member of the junior X-Men team Generation X, where she earned a reputation as a workaholic, constantly trying to prove herself to fit in for the main team. She also develops a troubled relationship with her antisocial teammate Chamber. Towards the end of the team's existence, though, Paige became the group's computer expert and develops an interest in environmental issues. After the breakup of Generation X, Husk joins Banshee's militant X-Corps, along with their other Gen X members, in order to keep an eye on him. This does not end well, with Banshee's more criminal charges staging a coup to the Gen X members having to take down the Blob. Now, Paige later joined the X-Men in 2001 and was placed in a controversial relationship with the longtime X-Man Archangel, as Husk was 19 years old and Archangel is well into, I believe, his 30s at that point. So it was quite controversial. Let's see here. The two took an extended leave of absence, and Archangel launched a charity called Mutant Sans Frontieres in Zanzibar, a reference to Medicine Sans Frontieres, which means Doctors Without Borders. So this is Mutants Without Borders, where the two proceeded to help stop a coup with the aid of Professor X's newest charges from nearby Genosha. If you guys hear any noise in the background, I'm alone, and my dogs are, I think, chasing a cat in the house, so you may hear something. I hope not, though. Anyways, her younger brother Jay joined the New Mutants team under the codename Icarus, and her sister Melody also joined the school as Arrow after discovering she could fly. Melody has since been depowered after M-Day, although Paige herself retained her powers. Icarus was later killed following the events of M-Day in a confrontation with the anti-mutant activist William Stryker and his army. The resulting battles also take the lives of dozens of other students. I wonder is that the same one that had Jubilee crucified on the X-Men's front lawn? That could be, which was messed up. Like, really messed up. But she is most often seen in the current new X-Men title while tending to the wounded. In her last major appearance, she attended the funeral of her little brother. Okay. So that's crazy. That's crazy. But let's keep going with her, because she doesn't have a lot of history, but she's got a good one. Paige is a resident of the mutant nation of Utopia, and is seen fighting alongside the new X-Men battling her reanimated former teammates Sync and Skin. Paige is subsequently sent to Muir Island with a team of X-Men led by Nightcrawler to further investigate the attacks on Utopia. When the team reaches Muir Island, they discover something came back when Destiny was actually resurrected. And that was the villain Proteus. Proteus takes swift action, dispatching the team's heavy hitters, Colossus and Magneto, and possessing Trance, Nightcrawler, Psylocke, and Husk. While in mental possession of Husk, he displays the ability to assume a flaming energy form, something Paige was previously unable to do. Whether this is an undiscovered latent talent of Paige's or an aspect of Proteus's reality manipulation remains unknown. So that's kind of cool. I always liked the ideas of like kind of villains taking over a little bit and then adding a new layer to their powers. I always thought that was interesting, because you never really knew, was it something that they could do before? Maybe they just kind of held back, even if it's subconsciously, or is it something that only happened because of the manipulation? And now, following the conflict between Wolverine and Cyclops that led to the former abandoning Utopia, Husk became a teacher at the Jean Grey School for Higher Learning. At a faculty meeting, Paige tries to express her insecurity about not being cut out for teaching because the students aren't listening to her. Ironically, Beast cuts her off before she can finish. And this is kind of a thing with Paige. She's never really been outspoken. She's always she's been that workaholic. She's been that person that just kind of puts their nose to the grindstone and works and works and works and works. So she doesn't get a lot of talking time. She doesn't get noticed as much. She's that person that's just there and that does the job, you know? But later, Cannonball expresses his frustration about there only being a memorial for dead X-Men, including their brother Jay. And in the faculty lounge, and that he doesn't understand how Paige agrees with this decision when she can't even look at Jay's picture. Casting off Sam's feelings, Paige announces she has class and needs to change. To reply to this, Sam states that she sheds her skin every time she's unhappy, and her power isn't an antidepressant. At that moment, the school's attacked, and Paige is instructed to go teach as normal. What the hell is that? Like, they're attacked, and they're like, no, just go teach class. You're fine. Like, whatever. During her class, Rogue interrupts and informs Paige that there's a problem with the heating system. Upon leaving the class, Paige instantly husks into her fire form and destroys the invading Nagari in the mansion. During Paige's time at the school, it becomes apparent that her mysterious molting condition is only worsening because her skin is in a state of constant cracking and flaking. I like this. I remember the artwork for this, and you would just see these little cracks, almost like a marble statue kind of cracking. It was great. Now, over time, Paige's condition worsens as she starts leaving around Husk replicas with her old skin. And they're actually, this is funny, they're replicas that Toad, who was in love with her, keeps to himself and even uses in his tea parties. It's funny, but it's gross, and it just leaves a lot of questions on the table that I don't want to ask right now. But let's just say it's gross. So during the events of Avengers vs. X-Men, she starts a sentimental relationship with Toad. Her mental condition grows worse too, and she doesn't even acknowledge a riot in one of her classes. So let's put her mental condition aside, because I read too fast on that. She develops a relationship with Toad. She goes from Archangel to Toad. Like, you can't pinpoint where, like, what kind of guy she likes. Like, she is all over. But yeah, her mental condition grows worse too, and she doesn't acknowledge a riot in one of her classes. After that, Kitty Pryde states that Paige is in no condition to teach and suggests removing her from the active staff. In a burst of fury, Paige decides to quit the school, considering Kitty was about to fire her. And then Paige decides to take some time for herself, leaving the school and telling Toad she'll eventually come back. She even assures him that she is in no need of psychiatric help, which is usually a telltale sign that they are in need of psychiatric help. Now, as part of the Marvel Now event, a now disfigured Husk is revealed to be one of the agents of the Hellfire Club's new Hellfire Academy. And when Toad helps Quentin Quire to escape the Hellfire Academy, Husk and the other students try to stop them. Husk attacks Toad and strangles him when he starts ripping off layer after layer of her skin until a normal-looking Paige appears under all the Husk. She only has vague memories of what happens and does not remember her relationship with Toad at all. The X-Men then shut down the Hellfire Academy. So it's almost like as she was husking, there was like this core that was getting buried farther down deep. It's weird how I can visualize it, but I can't explain it. Now it transpires that Husk's personality shifts and subsequent mental breakdown and betrayal were caused by a secondary mutation, which means her powers now also affect her mind as well as her body. Husk is forgiven for her betrayal, since she was of unsound mind and is made the Academy's new guidance counselor. However, Toad is fired, probably for taking her husks and keeping them as Tea Party people. Yeah, we'll say that. As he is leaving, Husk apologizes to him for being unable to remember what happened between them. He claims he knew it was too good to last, and before he leaves, she arranges a date at a local coffee shop, but the city is attacked by self-replicating energy bolts built by Maximilian Frankenstein, so he and Manuel Entke could escape the Grey Academy. The X-Men defeat the robots, and half the coffee shop has been destroyed. Entke is found by the X-Men having been severely beaten by Toad on Frankenstein's orders. Toad seemingly now working for Frankenstein, wanting to go someplace nobody can hurt them. NK passes on a message to Husk that Toad left because he knew even if things went well between them one day, she'd wake up and see him for what he really was. Husk then breaks down in tears, and that's kind of like an end note on that. So that's kind of crazy history, right? Like, the more she uses her powers, the more she loses her mind until she basically has to reset. So that's kind of nuts, but I like that aspect of it. Now her powers. Paige is a metamorph who has the mutant ability to change her physical form by shedding her outer layer of skin to reveal a new layer or shape underneath. While she can sometimes acquire new forms, Paige most commonly takes on a Paige-like form in a new material. She can become any solid that she has studied, including glass, wood, rubber, brick, diamond, granite, and even adamantium. And these forms take on new physical abilities or qualities appropriate to the form, such as increased weight, strength, or invulnerability. Paige has also shown some ability to take on forms with energy powers, including a fiery form that generates heat and flame, and a form with acidic skin. Husk has been able to shift into anything that does not exceed her body mass, and any extra mass left when she shifts into a smaller form, such as an insect or a bird, is shunted into an unknown extra-dimensional space and will return to Husk when she resumes her human form. However, she has also demonstrated an ability to take on extra mass and become heavier. She has the capability to blend in with the surroundings, but in order to do so, she would have to study the texture she seeks and mimic that first. She can husk away minor injuries, but deeper ones will stay with her, and she can hold a form for about an hour before she needs to revert back to her original form. And she can morph repeatedly. She's not required to stay in any one form, but too many transformations can become very painful. And in great stress or trauma, Paige can shed without control, revealing patchwork forms. And when Paige husks, she sheds her clothing as well, and this has the side effect of leaving her nude when she returns to her normal form. So it's a pretty safe assumption that every single X-Men has seen this girl naked running around. Paige has recently gained a secondary mutation which affects her mind. This mutation changes part of her brain into acting into what she shifts herself into. Paige has learned to keep it under control, as the first time Toad had to tear through several husks for Paige to regain her mind, but in the process she lost several months of memories, likely due to the constant shedding. So that's a really cool kind of caveat to it, you know, like it's just insane. It's just insane. But fun facts. She appears alongside her brother Sam Guthrie as Cannonball in the X-Men episode Hidden Agenda, though she is shown without her powers at the time. In the 2003 film X2, Paige's name appears in William Stryker's computer along with her brother Samuel Guthrie. So she's already been labeled a mutant in that universe. And if you didn't see it, no one saw it. It's one of those things that you had to know it was there pretty much. I'm sure. Alright, and this one is great. In the 1996 made-for-TV movie Generation X, Paige was actually replaced with a character named Buff, a blonde with enhanced strength, simply because Paige's powers were too expensive to animate. Now, I looked it up before I did the show, and the movie is actually on YouTube, so you should check it out. It's Generation X. It's an hour and a half to 2 hours long. Check it out. It's awesome. It's got Jubilee. It's got Skin. It's got Monet in it, Banshee, and the first appearance of Emma Frost in a live-action series. So check it out. It is so cheesingly bad and great at the same time. I actually own a copy, and I'll watch it maybe once every 2 or 3 months. Like, it's kind of like once a quarter kind of thing. But what do you guys think of Husk? Like, she's pretty awesome, right? Like, what a crazy power set. You know, and granted, when she debuted, it was like in the mid-90s. I was a teenager at the time. So the fact that she had to rip off her skin and rip off her clothing only helped my fandom at the time. Because being a teenager that read comic books insanely is completely healthy, right? Yeah, we'll just say that. I don't need psychiatric help. You need psychiatric help. Okay. But let me know what you guys think. If you're watching on YouTube, you can catch it under Superhero Deep Dive. New videos post every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. I would love a comment, a like, a subscribe. Like I said, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, critiques, requests for future episodes, they would be great, and they would be greatly appreciated. The views are appreciated because it just helps me out, in all honesty. And yeah, if any of you guys know how to do video editing or know someone that does, maybe I can get the videos in better quality or something, or do something better with them. I don't know. Just let me know. I'm definitely looking for feedback, because I really do appreciate you guys, and every comment does get acknowledged in some form or fashion. I do read everything, and the worst that happens is I put a thumbs up on it, because pretty much the conversation would have ended at that point. But yeah, you can also email me directly at b4itall, so b4itall at yahoo.com. And you can catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm on Twitch as well, but I haven't been on it in months. But Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram under Super Deep Dive, and I use the hashtag Superhero Deep Dive. Alright, but now I'm going to go into my favorite part. This is the power expansion. This is where I go and I look to see, like, how can I improve the character? Do they need a movie? Do they need an animated series? Do they need a comic series? Do they need a live action series? Like, what can we do? What kind of storyline could we have? Who would we cast if it was live action? You know, all that good stuff. So of course the floor is open to you all as well. But for me, Husk has always been an amazing hero. Because her power is super unique, and I love the fact that they added the mental component too. To where she could lose her mind with all the shedding she does for an extended period of time. So with her, I'd love to see something like an animated series, but let's have a bit of humor added to it. Like, Paige Guthrie is from Kentucky, and I want a Kentucky accent. I want weird coal miner hillbilly euphemisms, and I want her to have segments where she loses her mind. And an example of this is if you guys haven't seen I think it's on HBO Max, the Harley Quinn animated series. It's actually pretty awesome. But there are times where, you know, it really makes no sense. And that's okay, because it fits the character. I want Husk to be the Marvel version of that. She doesn't have to be so outlandish. But I do want to see those laps in like, you know, where she can just actually be crazy at that point. And then, you know, she has to shed a bunch of stuff, like shed a bunch of layers, and she's got no memory of it. So basically it just reboots. Like, so the last episode or the previous episode could have been totally out of context. And everyone else knows exactly what's going on, but she has no idea because she had to shed all those memories. And she's still got to deal with the repercussions. I think it'd be so fun. But here's what she can do. Like, she can take on some of the lesser leveled Marvel villains, which I think it's a criminal. I think it's a criminal offense that Absorbing Man is considered a lesser villain because he is amazing, and I love Absorbing Man. But that could be one of her. That could be like her main villain in this, and there could be others too. But could you imagine Husk fighting Absorbing Man? Like, as soon as she's shed into a new form, he could absorb it. And they just go back and forth like that. Like, it could be awesome. It could really be awesome. Could you imagine her, having to use her brain and outthinking him? But then can you imagine her absolutely being crazy and trying to figure something out? And it could just go back and forth. But I think that in that same vein as the Harley Quinn animated series, it could really work. What do you guys think? Like I said, I'd love to hear your questions, comments, concerns, critiques, requests for other heroes. Let's see here. I think I've got one or two more before I do the Silk vs. Spider-Gwen episode. And then I got a couple more requests in that I'll be hitting, so it'll be great. But guys, I'm gonna head out for now. Like I said, please reach out to me. I love it. I love talking to you guys. On YouTube, it's Superhero Deep Dive. Comment, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I'm on every Tuesday and Thursday throughout the day on Outward Fleet Radio, and their website is www.un-conventional.com/radio. And you can reach me on Twitter and Instagram under Super Deep Dive. I use the hashtag superherodeepdive, and you can email me directly at b4itall@yahoo.com. But in the meantime, guys, I'm going to head out. I hope everyone is blessed. I hope everyone is happy. I hope everyone stays safe. I hope everyone stays smart. And if you're not smart, don't get caught. See you guys later. Bye-bye.